Good evening, happy holidays, and welcome to Bytes and Banter. And look at Rich's beautiful beard. Look at that. Look at that. He tried to, can you believe this? He tried to take them off before we started, and I said, no, sir. This is so good.
Put a firm stop to that. Hunter was like, absolutely not.
This is Bytes and Banter. This is a silly space on Fridays. This is our AI open mic where people can talk about their use cases, their success stories, their pain points, their decorated beards. All is welcome here. All is welcome. Beth, I got to start off by saying congratulations on 100 episodes of the
That is
Daily AI Show,
wild.
which is your daily AI show.
That's
That's
amazing.
amazing.
It's become a real habit, right? We do like these are I get to talk AI with my buddies every morning for a half an hour. And like all good relationships, it lasts through communication and just showing up every day.
Yeah, it's
Don't
really true.
leave.
You just got to keep showing up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we also talk about Rick's audio setup here? Because
I know.
can
Such a
you speak
pro.
into the microphone in your podcast voice?
I can. Welcome to Bytes and Banter with the AI. Oh my God, with Light Magic AI. There we go.
Me too. And
Light magicians.
yeah, we'll fix it in
Exactly.
post.
We'll fix
I
it in
mean,
post.
talk about podcast voice.
And it's funny. So I did try podcasting once upon a time back in. Okay, sorry, my jingles are they're
Okay. Okay. Rich, your jingles are showing. You might want to tuck those in.
I'm going to tuck those in. Exactly. I did try podcasting once upon a time. It's at the time, at least, this was like 2019, before I even knew what really AI was. It was difficult to do a lot of it, especially I was doing it by myself and trying, and I kind of fizzled out after like 6 episodes. So I put a pin in that. And now it's interesting because I keep seeing all of these wonderful tools popping up for podcasts made with AI, make things like editing and post really easy, make publishing really easy. So like now I'm like, ooh, it's
Yeah.
getting, that itch is getting scratched a little bit. This is
Yeah.
not for podcasting. I have a customer facing role, so I do a lot of teaching, so this is why the setup. But yeah, could be for podcasting. We'll see what 2024 brings.
Is that a Shure microphone?
It's a Samson.
Okay. I was gonna say, because that's pretty serious. But
Yeah.
that sounds pretty serious. I might have to get some links from you.
Absolutely, will do.
Yeah, I need to, because during COVID lockdown, I started doing more voiceover from home. Right now I'm traveling, so I'm just like, but I have like the big, like, stand with the big thing that has the little thing around it. And now I need to like get the arm for my desk. I haven't switched over to that version yet because it's still just, yeah, exactly. I need to get what you got there.
Link in my bio. Sorry.
Totally.
In our previous event, we made a hashtag because on Restream, you can like bring up screens and stuff like that and graphics. And we made a hashtag that said not sponsored by because we were dropping so many names. Yet, not sponsored by yet, because we need more affiliate links, don't we, friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am also traveling. I am dog sitting for friends, and my normal setup has the arm and
Yes. You have the
for
real
same
deal
reason.
setup, Beth, too. Like you have like the mixer thing going on and like all of the things.
Yeah, and I'm trying to set up my Restream. Is that what it's called? Stream Deck. My Stream Deck.
Stream Deck. Yeah, there's so many things.
with some StreamYard things so that that can now be at the touch of a button as opposed to at the touch of 3 buttons. Yes.
Who has time for 2 more buttons? Am I right?
I mean,
oh my gosh.
Beth, We're all about streamlining process here.
You can webhook into those buttons and run automations off of them. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Yes,
Okay.
you can. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I've been wanting to order one of those, but I haven't yet. But you can do some pretty wild stuff off of that.
Yeah, those things are pretty cool. I feel like once, we start making all of the things, that's going to be just like command center for all of the AI. And because then you could put those in your house, like the Internet of Things. There'll be more things like that, I think. It'll be really interesting to see how that takes off. What's up,
So,
Andy?
Hey
Stream
guys.
Deck, not sponsored, but ready should you like.
Should we start like tagging these companies in the comments here? I feel like get them involved.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Oh, we got June Me in the comments too. What's up? We got the whole gang in here. That's all. You guys need to give us the bit 100 episodes. You guys might have already covered this when I stepped out for just a second, but like give us the plug. Like this awesome, and 100 episodes is amazing. That's some dedication for sure.
Yeah, it takes a commitment. It's here on the West Coast for me and June and me, it's 7 a.m.
Oh,
And
wow.
that 7 a.m. window was not part of my normal schedule. So I had to kind of adjust everything, to make it work. But I'm glad I did. It's definitely been in the aftermath of doing some online courses just to familiarize myself with AI. I did the MIT Designing and Building Apps for AI course. And then I did a course from the Harvard Business School. But I've actually learned much more from this community, you guys, as well as our show, and the commitment to do it every day, Monday to Friday, and be in the conversation is essential to maintaining familiarity. They say about anything that you practice, like the frequency of your practice, the most predictive about the ultimate accomplishment of your skill in that area, particularly with musical instruments. If you practice even a very, very short period of time, but you practice every day, it's very much better than practicing 2 hours once a week.
Yeah. It's the same thing with
Absolutely.
meditation, right? Any sort of exercise, all the same. Yeah.
So, Sarah, I noticed you're having a conversation with Logan GPT of
God.
OpenAI.
Did you see
I
me
was
get
like-
roasted on TikTok? Did you see that? I was like, I sent it to Tyler, and I was like, I need to do a video response.
all press is good press.
Yeah, Tyler was like, that he's being a little unfair. I'm like, yeah, dude, I know like you're trying to build up your following on TikTok, whatever, but okay, fine, use me as an example.
I didn't see this. What did he do?
I was gonna say we need context.
So Logan, because I know that you're here on LinkedIn also. So he started a new account on TikTok.
Right.
Like he's got like 130 followers or something. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, sweet. So I've been interacting with his posts, and he did one yesterday about chat windows. And I, responded and say, yeah, it's kind of like I like to use chat windows for different topics. So you train the model, like I put it in inverted hashtags. And then he did a response video with my face on it. And he's like, actually, that's not really training the model. I'm like, dude, I know. I'm just trying to boost your algorithm too. So anyway, we've got to do like a, Logan, we love you, but
I'm seeing kind of like West Side Story, like you could like snap your fingers, da-da, 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 AI, yeah.
AI.
yeah, for sure.
I was gonna say, here comes Ann, because she's preceded by the I take notes for us. That's hilarious. I love it. When she joins the Zoom room, that's what her bot joins first.
That is so funny.
So we know she's a coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and we got
Lars
Lars sailing in from the Netherlands.
With
What's
his
up, dude?
cigarettes.
Yeah, Lars, you always have a fog machine going with you wherever you go. It's pretty cool.
Not connected to audio yet, so he
Okay.
may not.
All right.
Yeah. Oh my
Happy
god.
100th, you guys.
Thank you.
That's amazing. I'm so proud and impressed.
A group effort for sure. Thanks so much. It's lovely to have you all.
I only caught the
Thanks
first
everybody
little
for
bit.
showing up. That was awesome.
What's your biggest takeaway after 100?
The learn by doing. We did a
I'd
week of
say-
rehearsals. Yeah.
Go
And
ahead.
then Brian was like, okay, I feel like we know enough to know how to do this live. Maybe Jimmy was too, sorry. But like, let's just do it, right? Let's do it with no one watching, but still in public, and let's just see. And thank you all, because we couldn't stream on LinkedIn until we had 100 likes.
Oh,
So we're like,
yeah.
to all of our friends, don't watch, just like the page, please, because we need. So to everyone who was part of that first 100, thank you so much.
I'm
My
so
takeaway
glad.
is that when you
Oh.
get 6 people together, 7 people together, 10 people together, what you've created is a network of sensors, a scout network. And we have a much finer ability to be on top of everything, because no one of us can encompass all of the things that are happening. But as a collective, we can see, we can see those things and be advised of what's going on. That's really valuable, like having a team of people that are all watching with a particular lens, right? So Junmi, I have no idea about the media, the whole area of Hollywood, and where he's a specialist, but such a center of advancement for AI. And so I learned about what's the latest and greatest in that area from him. But just in general, like we have our fingers on those things, and that's the big takeaway. Is doing things in a group is much, much more immediate and fast than doing it as a single individual.
True.
Can I dig into that really quickly, Andy? Just curious,
Yeah.
how did you guys get connected to begin with? I know, like, through members of our community, I think is the large part of it, but like what spurred the idea? I'm just curious what your origin story.
It was Brian. Brian decided that he wanted to do a daily AI show, and he just put a message in the general Slack channel, I think, in AIX, and said, anybody who's interested in doing this, I'm thinking about doing it, let me know. And there were 7 of us who said yes, and we've stuck with it as a team. And it wasn't clear at the outset whether any one individual among those 7 would persist, but we all did, and that's the main thing. And I think it's probably a similar story for you guys. You became kindred spirits in some way, knowing that there was in your collaboration a better potential for delivery of excellent services to the marketplace, and you formed an entity that is really just the concept of you guys being joined at the hips to do it together.
So in the AI Exchange, there's a Slack channel where we all connect, and there was a Slack channel for learn custom chatbots, custom chatbot learning channel, and Brian was instrumental in starting that, or starting the conversation there. And so we got together a couple times on Zoom to talk about what we were learning. And of course, Carl knew a ton of information, and so we were all learning from Carl. And then trying to do what Carl did from taking a class, but not taking the classes. So we got together a couple times, and it turned into us just having an hour-long conversation about chatbots. And out of that, Brian had put a post in that said, "This has been fun. Does anyone want to do this?" And 6 of us said, "Yeah."
So one of the things we did early on was we had our own Slack DM for that group inside AIX. And that's where we were having our conversation. And then we said, well, maybe this is going to, just get a little too glommed up. So let's have our own Slack. So we created our own Slack, the Daily AI Show, and that's where we have most of our sort of internal group conversations now. But we could have continued to do that just as a separate DM group inside the AIX's Slack.
Yeah, I was
This is all
jealous
sounding
of
very familiar.
Tyler and Hunter talking about all their Slack automations and like, all right, huh? We should maybe have our like
Yeah.
not just one long.
Right.
Yeah, I remember when like Beth, you reached out, we were talking about chatbots, and you're like, "Oh, can we do like a retune thing?" I was like, "Yeah, GBTs are about to come out next week, so I don't know if that's where you want to. I don't know if we want to do that." And then like, because it was like, we can show you what we're doing right now, but I think everything's about to change again. But yeah, I love that, and I love what you said, Andy, about kindred spirits. We are like, I love that there's so much, we're all surrounded by all this technology and we're all talking about that, and underneath of it there is this deep connection that we have found with our group and with other people like y'all as well, like connected. There is this balance we talk about in our like conversations regularly, is like there's the tech and then there's also the woo, and we are quite a bit a mix of both. And I feel very, I don't know, I've never felt so aligned with multiple people on this front. There's been like a person here and there in my life that I could be in this trajectory with, but this is the first time where I'm like, wow, I feel like I found so many of my people from all these different walks of life that are on both of those wavelengths at the same time.
Yeah.
Hey, Suzanne.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. I'm still waking up. I'm gonna have to switch my schedule so I'm back to being a morning person again. But might as
Yeah.
well enjoy another week or so of being a night owl.
Are you on the West Coast, Best Coast? Where are
I
you?
am in
Yeah,
San
yeah.
Francisco,
Oh, you're in SF.
epicenter
Okay,
of
cool.
all this crazy stuff, right?
Yeah, talk to us about that. You're in the heart, the belly of the beast.
Yeah.
What's the temperature like over there, other than foggy and misty? But like,
Yeah.
what's the tech temperature?
Actually, it's clear out my window today right now. But yeah, so I think I was just fortunate. I'm sure there's been a lot of activity earlier this year, but I was pretty busy with my job. And then when I didn't have a job, all of a sudden, it was like within about a month, I figured out we're all like how to go to all the events and conferences. And I think it may have started for me around like TechCrunch, because there's usually a lot of events after the TechCrunch, like in the evening. And from there, it just, there's just so many things. It's a little quiet. It's the holidays, but normally like on a given week, there's 3 or 4 different events. And so you could spend all your time running around. I mean, they're everything. Some of them are very focused for like, like healthcare or something like that. Some of them are VC driven. Some are, just they're definitely a great way to meet a lot of people. And yeah, it's great. So if you're ever out this way, I mean, there's conferences, there's events. I've met so many people. So yeah, it's been exciting.
Suzanne, what town are you in?
I'm in San Francisco.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in Santa Cruz.
You're in Santa Cruz? Oh, my sister lives in Santa Cruz. I go there all the time and visit.
Well, come on out.
I will. Where in Santa Cruz are you?
I live in Soquel, which is above Capitola.
That's where my sister lives.
She's probably a neighbor. Who's your sister?
Can I interrupt you guys? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Lars.
All right.
Welcome, friend.
I'm sorry to interrupt you guys, but I really need to leave soon.
Okay.
But I just want to introduce myself and then tell you guys what I'm busy with at the moment. Is that all right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
do it. The mic
Alright.
is yours. The open mic is
Yes,
yours.
I will take it. My name is Lars. I'm from the Netherlands and I'm 28 years old. For the last 9 years, I've been an entrepreneur and I've given everything up to help to change the world with AI on a positive way. My vision is to collaborate humans with AI because there's no way AI will not change everybody's future. So I gave up my building company contracting business to research the last half year to just do things and fall and break my leg sometimes and then go in a wheelchair and continue and rise again. So I really have some really awesome and really great business opportunities. I haven't made any money for the last 4 months because I've been too focused on, wow, this is there and you've got this and that tool and this chatbot and but now at this moment I really have business opportunities and I would like to discuss them with someone who is interested in that to evolve that. I already have customers. I've been for the last 3 days. I've been knocking doors for people's. If I see like a big house, a villa, I will knock their door and explain my plan, and that's been good. But I need more connections. And yeah, if you would like to discuss that with me, please connect me in the chat. I will send a link that has all my information, Instagram and social medias and email and phone number and websites and everything. And now I really have to go because I really need to continue because I'm so focused on what I'm making, and I need to go. So yeah, that's my story for now. And I wish you all the best. And my Christmas is not going to be Christmas, but only AI and work. And I love it to the bone.
I love it. I love it.
Lars,
Thanks.
thank you
It's
for
always good to
stopping
see you,
in.
Lars.
Yeah, thanks, Lars.
Yeah.
Thanks for
And
sharing.
you're
all this
smart. You go
technique
knock
stuff.
on the big fancy houses. They got the money. That's a good idea.
Yeah, exactly. And I also have a product now that's beside AI, but it connects to it, which is not on the market yet. And I really think it can be really, really big.
Cool,
Yeah,
Lars.
good.
Well, we should we'll reach out. Tyler and I will reach out too, and we can have a more
Cool.
like longer conversation. We'll find a time when you
Sure.
when you got the time, when you're not spending Christmas building robots.
I always have time for business conversations at this moment because I'm
Yeah,
not into funny things sometimes, but mostly just business because I need to move. I need to go.
Totally.
I'm on fire.
Rich, take off that hat.
Oh, yeah.
It's too funny for Lars. Take off the hat. It's too funny. No, put it back on.
Nice.
I still like fun, but I need to focus. I need to focus now. So
We get
thank
it.
you all for
Totally get
for
it.
letting me have the mic, and I will give it back. And love to you all. Merry Christmas. Have some wonderful times, and let's change the future for the benefits of
Yeah.
humans.
Sounds great.
Yes.
Aloha,
Love it,
Lars.
dude.
Yeah.
Love it, man. Have a good
All
holiday
right,
season,
guys.
dude.
All right.
And
Bye
that's
bye.
a mic drop from Lars.
Bam! The link is in the description. Contact me if you like it. Love you all. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hey, buddy.
Lots of love. Nice.
Oh man, we got
Oh,
see Josh joined in. Did we? I think Sarah had to drop off, didn't she? I think she had
he
to go.
did, yeah.
Yeah. What we got the king is hanging out with Josh today. What's up? Where are you at, dude?
I'm in a retail store in Indy. And some
Well,
like
thank you
coffee
very
shop.
much, Josh.
Yeah,
Thank you very
yeah.
much for joining us.
Smells like leather.
Josh, I used to live in Broad Ripple.
Ah, nice. Nice. Yeah, it's not too far from here.
Yeah.
But normally you live in Santa Cruz or Capitola.
Yes, I do.
In SoCal. Yeah. I love that tiny, small world, Andy. That's so wild.
Yeah, for
My gosh.
Indianapolis was a 3-year stint at, I was the senior vice president of development for strategic development at Simon Property Group.
Awesome. And we got Ann Murphy in the house. Whoop, whoop.
And you got to tell us about this 24-hour GPT-a-thon. What have you signed yourself up for?
Yeah,
Tell
what's
us.
going on there?
Yeah, what is
Right.
this?
Okay. So, Kyle and his lives. And so I pop on yesterday and he's, well, just being Kyle, who knows what, he was demoing something and I didn't know. Oh, he was demoing, yesterday was a lot. This was after we had a marathon intense session learning a whole bunch of this whole new platform that is like insanely mind-blowingly life-changing, where it was like, okay, sorry, backing up. Yesterday, Tyler walked me through a platform that we've had access to for a couple of weeks. And I'd been kind of like waiting for my moment. And I'm referring it to like BC and after, like before and after this platform, because my life is officially changed last night. And it was so much like I know that this is going to sound hyperbolic, but I felt immense grief over my life before this platform and how I have spent my one precious life, the energy that I've put into doing things in ways that are just could not be slower and like, but I know it shouldn't matter because that's life, right? Like we're in the middle of this revolution, but I just felt so much grief over having done things in a way that just was hard and clunky and that got in the way of making an impact in the world because I was like pointing and clicking and just time wasting nonsense. And then I also felt a little bit like throwing up because it was like, oh my God, what am I going to do with my whole new life now? Like now I have this whole newfound ability to do things. And how does that work? And how am I going to teach people this? And how am I going to make them think I'm not insane when I start talking about it? And I mean, so I was having this full-blown existential crisis. And then on top of it, I'm like, oh God, and now I need to learn another platform. Like I need to get out of my existential space and just start learning how to do it. And like Lars was saying, it's like you're learning, you almost can't do anything else. Well, then I'm like, okay, cool. I'll just, we get off and I'm playing with the tools. I'm like, okay. And it's time, like you have to go to bed. I now work on East Coast hours and West Coast hours, I guess. And so I just popped on Kyle's TikTok like I do most nights. And he's talking about something. My brain just got full. So I started to look at like other stuff. I scroll back and he's getting into a conversation about how we need to have a GPT hackathon with Ann Murphy's Weekend GPT group. And I'm like, well, I'm very glad I dropped in here because we're about to we're about to start something off. So I guess we're going to do sometime next week. We're going to do a 24-hour hackathon, like easy for Kyle to say, because he just stayed up for 24 hours for ChatGPT's birthday, right? 24-hour hackathon. We're going to make GPTs for nonprofits. And there's a woman in the AI salon who some of you may know named Vicky Baptiste. She does a hackathon like this, making websites for nonprofits. So I got to reach out to her. But now I have told you everything that I know. It is happening. It's maybe going to be next week. I'm going to be, to your point, Tyler, mainlining Red Bull. I've never had one in my life, so now seems like a good time. And I don't know, we'll make it a party. Of course, it's always a party when Kyle is there, and we'll do outreach, and I will let you guys know as soon as I learn more. How about that?
That's awesome. We need to get Kyle in on that. He can support in like the evening hours from
When it's safe for
Australia.
Kyle.
Oh yeah, different
Yes.
Kyle, Australia Kyle.
Yeah, different
Yes.
Kyle. Yes, yes.
Who else is in Australia or somewhere else? We need to get all of our friends on the other hemisphere.
We got
Aaron.
Well, our
Aaron
colleague
and Mark.
Get Aaron in there.
Aaron Malik is, yeah, he's in Perth.
Okay. All right. I got to
I
get
don't
these
know
people
that
sent.
Aaron's on TikTok very much, but yeah, are you so Rich asked, you're making GPTs for the nonprofits, right?
I think so.
So my question is, are you looking for use cases? Like, should we be pulling
Yeah,
our
like
favorite,
how do we support
Yeah.
you?
our
Okay.
favorite
Yeah.
nonprofits?
So that would be, yes, that would be delightful. Like I, as I let myself kind of, have my ADHD luxury on this new squirrel. I was thinking that it would be dope if you have a favorite nonprofit. It would be even better if you have a favorite nonprofit that might actually use the GPT that we make for them.
Yep.
That's the harder part, right? So yeah, use cases I think would be awesome, especially, anything productivity related should always be of interest, but not always necessarily. And what I'll just put like in the back of everybody's mind, what I have found in working with my nonprofit colleagues in this stuff is that simple tends to be a lot better. One of the biggest gaps is when something goes into the black box and they can't explain it or understand it or pull it back out or look at it another way. That's when they hit the limiting mindset about it. Is like, it's in the black box. I can't see it. Where is it? When it comes out the other side, how can I trust it? So that's just something to keep in mind, is like, simple is probably going to be better. Yes, squirrels. Rich, every project is a squirrel now. Or a shiny spoon, shiny squirrel.
And in respect
Chrome.
of use cases, there's my wife operates a nonprofit here. We have an organization called Horse and Heart, horseandheart.org, if you want to see what it's about here in SoCal. And it has a large number of clients who come to the program. So there's program services, and we have outreach to those people and communications with those people frequently. Now, in terms of fundraising and donations, weaker on that side, definitely use some help there, but the audience for that is typically just the people who are clients of the program.
Yeah.
So, we want to expand that. So there's a couple of different things that I can, from personal experience, trying to support that nonprofit, both economically and then in terms of operations, including accounting and all that other stuff. There's a number of things that I think, I could propose as use cases, but I wanted to ask you about this. Is there's across all nonprofits that you work with, and I presume you work primarily with much larger nonprofits than this one, the annual operating budget of this one's around $250,000, not, it's a very small thing. But is there the same distinction? Like we have need for interaction with the people who are utilizing the program. And then we also have a need for outreach to the foundation, grants and the donors for the program.
Yeah, it's both. It's like the participants, or the clients, right? There's a lot of that needing, and some of the things are just really basic, just like we would have any other chat bot for a client, but in the nonprofit sector, there's just not as much, they're just not doing as much of that yet. Then there's, I think, an important constituency to think about is the volunteer community of any nonprofit. Making it easy for people to volunteer is hard. It's really hard, and it's very labor intensive, and it's not scalable, but we're expected to scale it. So I think anything that we can do to help nonprofits bring volunteers in, onboard them, answer those little tiny questions that can take up an entire day, I think that's really important. And then I think from a fundraising point of view, one of the biggest things we can do is support the staff internally. There's definitely, a place for having, chatbots and AI and whatnot that helps donors be donors. But the biggest return on investment is making the business operations of fundraising work better. Because they typically are very, regardless of whether they're small or ginormous, that part is the limiting factor, is just bandwidth.
Thank you. The other thing that comes to mind is that if you're going to do the hackathon based on OpenAI custom GPTs, then you're creating that barrier to entry, which is, the plus subscription.
For sure.
But I just saw yesterday, Liam Otley is a great, purveyor of useful videos about how to use these things. And he has a video just recently out about how to take any custom GPT and put it on a website using a tool that their team has built. And I think it's free. I haven't looked at it yet, but it's called Agentive. And it somehow makes it possible. So like for horseandheart.org, it'd be cool if we could have a custom GPT as the platform with which we could very simply and easily accommodate changes to the knowledge base and also put forward, calendaring and scheduling and all of the things and make it accessible to the users who aren't familiar with programming these things. But at the same time, make it accessible on the website, because we don't want to have to require that any of the volunteers actually go get a subscription in order to get onto it.
Yeah, and I would love to hear from you all. I've been thinking about this, because if we make dope enough GPTs, will it inspire people who are currently waiting for one more reason to go get ChatGPT 4? Or is that just not the way to approach life? And we should find other ways to make the GPTs accessible to people by putting them on chat base or something.
And I think a lot of people are just very focused on everything is open AI and versus looking at it more platform agnostic. Like these are concepts and proof of concepts, and they should be able to go out to any platform. There's lots of other companies that will be showing up with stuff similar. So that's kind of how I look at it. Is we're in a period of where we may be focused on the OpenAI GPTs, but I think very soon there will be other options.
Yeah, I agree. So I don't know, maybe our hackathon will be multiple formats of GPTs. Maybe we'll do
your first hackathon could focus on internal operations, supporting the people who are willing, and the nonprofit itself can afford to, buy a few seats of ChatGPT Plus.
Yeah. Good idea.
Suzanne, you kind of just blew my mind thinking that like all LLMs are an MVP right now is where my mind went. I was like, yeah, that's kind of wild.
Yeah, that's it. I think I read all these comments from people, this doesn't work and this isn't good, and people don't have access, but this is one big beta test. This is not in production, right? Is there anything really in production right now? Not really. So, and it's just evolving every week. So I would just say it's really great to kind of build something out, but but I think even Kyla said this, don't assume that's the final version. This is just a proof of concept.
Right. And I think that's more accurate than MVP, because ideally an MVP is you can use it, right? The proof of concept is okay, you can see the wiring and it's, stuff is braided in places where it's going to be behind, a cabinet. But yeah. The human experience, one big beta test. Nice, Hunter.
So true, Hunter.
So I'm gonna put in the chat my contribution to the MVP world in custom GPTs, which is a gratitude journal that it first of all gives you all of the health benefits that are associated with routine gratitude journaling. it keeps a text file journal of all of those entries. And for each one, it generates a Dolly image representing visually what your gratitude was. And I'm using it. I'm maybe one of the only ones at this point, but I
I'll
offer it
use
to you
it. I
guys to
love
just
that.
try it out.
Yeah, drop it in, Andy.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I love that. Also, I don't know if anyone else went to Andy's nonprofit website. That is, I put the link in there. That is the most soothing landing page I have ever experienced. You just go to it, and it's a hand just caressing the top of a horse in slow motion, nice close up. I was like, I feel so at peace on this landing page. Well done, Andy.
My wife and daughter are both equestrians, and they have shifted everything that my daughter was doing semi-professionally in the hunter-jumper world into consensual and emotional horsemanship. And it's all about relationship development. And on our ranch, we have 12 horses, and none of them are in a stall. They're all circulating in subgroups of the overall herd. And there are certain geldings that, you can't put in the same enclosure, but to a large degree, you can open most of the gates and most of the horses can be free roaming around the property.
I love that. I love you're listed as also the ranch manager. Come on, ranch daddy.
Yeah, as you know, you might not know this, but at 7:30 when we finish the show, it takes us another 20 minutes to debrief and have fun with each other.
Yeah.
But then I always have to go out and I have to pick up, and I'm in the Monday to Friday period, there's someone else who feeds in the morning, but I have to go out and there's at least 300 or 400 pounds of manure that have to be picked up and carted off. So I'm staying ranch fit, so to speak. I'm farm fit.
I love it. You're like robots, and now muck in the stalls.
All right, and I'm gonna call out Junmi here because when initially Junmi was like, "Where is Andy going to pick up?" Right, so you're driving and you're picking up. And what are you doing with hundreds of pounds of manure every day that you have to go pick it up and bring it back?
Yeah, I totally misread what was going on there because because Andy was always like, oh, I gotta go pick up a ton of shit, and so I was like, what? It's like, okay, I know you have horses and you're doing a ranch thing or whatever, but are you picking up fertilizer for a farm as well or something?
No, we have our own factory. We have our own factory here.
I know. Well, that's what I was thinking. It's like, why do you need more? You make a ton of it. And it just went right over my head until it would just set straight. And I was just like, oh, that makes way more sense. What were you thinking? So yeah, sometimes forest for the trees, really. But those conversations after the show are some of the most fun parts of doing the whole production. Is
a lot of laughter
about it. Yeah. And for me, there's a lot of times where we'll have a dozen points that we want to talk about during a show on whatever subject, and we'll get to 3 or 4, right, at most. And for me, I need to get it out of my brain, right, whether I write it down or I'm talking to somebody. And so that's what that decompress is, right after is just oh, and here's all the other things I wanted to talk about. And then of course, those all make great content for additional shows down the line. But yeah, it's super helpful to have having a after show debrief.
Andy, there's this thing I heard about horses over a decade ago. You can confirm if this is true or not, and if it's not, it's still helpful for me. But it's actually someone shared this with me in regards to leadership. Now stick with me. So I'm told that horses, they're not in wild horses. they're not attracted to like the strongest one or the most aggressive one. They're attracted to the one that like is the passive leader, that will like guide them to water, that will guide them to food, and is not the violent leader. Is that true?
Well, in general, it's true that wild herds are led by the lead mare. So it's the female, not the strong stallion, who is leading. The stallion will stay at the periphery, like when the herd makes its sort of collective move. You know, they have very intertwined senses as a group. And as they make their move, it's going to be to follow the mare, and the stallion will be at the periphery in a protective position. There's not just one mare and one stallion. Obviously, there's many stallions and many mares. So that's true. They are not following the one that's most aggressive. They're following the one that is most dependable. They have a sense about which one is the most reliable, and like a stallion can get tweaky. They'll go ballistic for no reason, right? Because
I've seen a
driven
few
by
out in the tech
testosterone.
space too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I love that. It's a nice reminder to be like that the leadership is like the path of least resistance, right? It's like the person that you can count on. I love that. That's so wonderful.
That individual, the lead mare, has to also take initiative. Like it has to be the one that is not only dependable and is in effect trusted by the rest of the herd, but is the one who's taking the advance. But she didn't have to fight to get there.
Thank you. I love that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff about horses that I know only because of my proximity to them. I like to joke that I'm responsible for what goes in the front of the horses and what comes out of the back of the horses, but I don't ride and I don't do the sessions. I'm not involved in that part. But of course, I have therefore a very intimate relationship with all the horses and their individual personalities. And so I've had a 25-year experience of being with horses, living with them here, in a very, very close fashion. So I think I know quite a bit about it. I want to share a lot of that. And that's one of my ideas. I have the domain horsemanship.ai, and I am in a long process of trying to get to the application development to build something that will be the ground school for horsemanship. So before you go into training or you start to consider owning a horse yourself, learn everything you can about horses. And this is like the analog is like if you're going to become a pilot, you first have to do ground school. You don't just jump in the airplane. So you have to have you have to know the vocabulary, you have to know what the requirements are, you have to learn all those things. And every flight training academy has a ground school you go through before you actually end up, soloing as a pilot.
Hey, I'm just
Beautiful
looking at those images
pictures,
that you
Ann.
dropped in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, from John. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I just love he was talking about it, and it was like he's like, oh yeah, it's splashing horses or whatever, and I'm like, God, what's splashing horse? And I'm like, oh, it's their horses splashing. Like it's just perfect. It's exactly what it says it is. So yeah, this is what John did his career. And now
Look at that.
John holds down. So in our Saturday meetings, we have a 16-year-old who's a regular and a 76-year-old. John's 76. Yeah, I don't think he's hiding that fact. So we get to have 60 whole years of people represented on the screen. It's just like so cool. He's such a gem. So I haven't seen the output yet, but he had us sing. Oh, Beth, would you like to try to do justice to what happened?
He wrote a version of the 12 Days of Christmas about AI, and he very much wanted us to record it for his wife. And we talked about the latency a couple times, and he seemed to say that he understood it, but then was frustrated by it, that we were not all together. So like there seemed to be a miscommunication of stuff happening. And the other thing was he wanted to produce it after the fact. So what he was doing was he wasn't letting us sing all the way through. Sorry, that's someone's gonna come in. It's gonna be loud.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, you're.
I think Beth was the only one that was really like singing. You were great, Beth. Thank you.
We were all on the ground. Like it was, I mean, and honestly, and even let's just pretend that this group of people, that there was no latency and we were just going to sing the 12 Days of Christmas and we were standing in the same room. It would have been equally disastrous. Like Beth was unless Suzanne, I don't want it, maybe you were one of the people with the beautiful singing voice, but there might be something about AI, because when our group sang Happy Birthday to Tyler a few months ago, and then when I heard the 12 Days of Christmas a couple weeks ago, I was like, oh, so is this one of those weird things in life where we all have like some trait, some little known trait, and it's like we can't even sing Happy Birthday on key?
Yeah, it was really so out of key. Like
it was so bad, and it was so
the
good.
only one that seemed to be like on point, but everybody else, including myself, yeah, not good.
Oh,
okay, but that was also because when we asked John for a starting note, he didn't want to give one. So you're begging for all of us to like.
I'm gonna leave the AI songs to Suno.
Yeah. The Music Man, maybe like an old musical for a bunch of people, but it felt very much like, here we go, minuet in G, wherever you are. Boom.
Yeah. Oh, it was awesome. I really want to see what he produced, though. That's the thing. I really want to see it.
And after doing all 12, I was like, just let us go through the 12, please. No. We never got to sing it all the way backwards.
It was so bad.
It was
really embarrassing. He's a very good sport, I'll say that. And so are we, by the way.
Well, I'm hoping to be able to join the next couple of Fridays, but then after that, I don't know if I'll have time on Fridays. Hopefully, maybe I'll be able to sneak in, but
congratulations.
Yeah, talk to us. Congratulations on Adobe. Tell us what you'll be doing.
Oh yeah.
Well, at first, I mean, as everybody knows, the job market is not so great right now, and there'll be like 1,000 people applying for all these whatever product jobs or what have you. So I also have a lot of those agencies that call because I have Meta as on my resume because I worked there as a contractor for a little while. So, which is really great. But yeah, I often get jobs for, calls for Adobe, for Apple, for Google, for Meta. But they called about an Adobe job, and a lot of these just don't pan out. But it was for, I know Workfront. I don't know if anyone here is familiar with that platform. Workfront. How about Adobe Experience Manager? That one you know? Somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a DAM. That's a digital asset management software. And then Workfront is like a project management or marketing management platform, and it has to be fully configured, meaning it's not anything you can just set up and quickly get up to speed, but like it is like very configurable. So I know those platforms really well, and that's what the role I thought was, and I was kind of like, I'm trying to move away from that, right? We're all trying to move towards doing AI stuff. So in my first interview halfway through, I always bring up AI just to, get it, see where people are. And then I found out that actually what the role really was is that it is about integrating their new Gen Studio with Workfront and AI internally, because I guess at Adobe Max, they made some announcement that they
Yeah.
are rolling out this, or have this Gen Studio platform, which is really an end-to-end platform using their set of tools with all the generative properties. So that's what this is. There's not that many people within Adobe that actually have it yet. So that's the role.
Nice. Yeah, that should be super fun. You'll be like right in the middle of their campaign plan. So that sounds awesome.
Yeah, because it does use Adobe Campaign. It uses AEM and Workfront, and then I'm assuming Firefly and their Photoshop that has the generative AI properties. So yeah, it should be interesting. I was asking, like, things are changing so fast. It's really hard to build a long-term roadmap, right? And I'm like, are you like, how are you going to work with that, right? Because who knows, in a month, let's say you have a long-range plan to roll it out, something new can show up tomorrow, right? Even with Adobe, things are coming out quick. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, that sounds fantastic. Congratulations again. That sounds like an awesome role. And to be put into that inner workings position, I think gives you so many opportunities to integrate AI, learn new stuff, and then maybe give us a little bit of the skinny on what's going down. I'm just saying. I mean,
yeah,
nothing you can't
right.
replace, but hey, it'd be awesome, and we'll talk, in
Sure.
Slack. It'll be fine.
Well, my area of expertise is workflow, like processes and building out workflow for larger companies. At Walmart, when I rolled out Workfront, initially we had about 700 users, and now I think there's over 2,500. So trying to understand like various work streams within marketing, or there may be a different work stream for brand social, or for site, or for packaging, or signage in the store. So trying to understand all those different work streams and building that in the tool. So this will be really great because it is all end to end, and how does the AI shift that workflow? So that's really where, at a high level, where I would like to be. But I've seen a lot of demos, like video demos, about like even integrating. They have a low code platform called Fusion, which is similar to a lot of these other low code, and where they use it to bring in, like, you could bring in Chat GPT and then use that. So I don't know what Adobe's doing with those type of options, but that will be interesting. So yeah, I'll keep everybody, it is publicly announced, so I don't think there's anything top secret that I'm aware of, but there's not much out there. I tried to do some research on it, and we will see.
Hunter,
let them know you have direct access to a couple of channels that can get more attention to it too. So just let us know.
Hunter, thank you for trialing gratitude journaling. What a nice image you generated with such a simple prompt.
Yeah, here, I'll share it on the screen. So you made this gratitude journal, and I said, today I'm grateful for the community of AI folks who are kind, fun, and spiritually generous. And it made this beautiful image.
And so the idea, Hunter, you didn't have time probably to read through the sort of introductory text, but one of the things that's suggested there is that you download each of these images that are generated and then collect those and create what amounts to like a gratitude vision board for you. Eventually you add that visual dimension to gratitude that you might, that evokes what your written expression of gratitude was, but can do that in a blink.
I've been trying to build a GPT vision board, but because the text for DALL-E isn't quite there, it's still on the shelf. I've been playing with it.
Oh yeah, it's doable. It just may not be done within the limits of custom GPTs.
Yeah, it's not quite there yet, but it will be there at some point. So I've got it all sketched out.
Yeah,
ready to go.
It's really close.
It's really close.
Like when I use, like, just today, like I made a quick image to just like give a fresh image today for announcing this. And I went in, and Anne has created a GPT that's like our light magic, like promo speak. So we can just like, here's an event. This is, and I was like, can you make, I wasn't sure. And I asked her, I was like, can you make pictures? I wasn't sure if Dolly was plugged in. It was like, yeah, I can make pictures. It sounded like you. It was like, great. So it was like, here's the event, make me a picture. And then it did it, but it spelled it Bytes. It had it like Bytes and Banter, like in the middle, but it spelled it like Byte. And then I took it over to an Adobe product. I just went into Photoshop, did the remove tool, retyped in the text, posted it out. That's kind of my flow with some of the funny text moments.
Thank goodness for Photoshop. I have had to do that where I go in and I clone out whatever text it gives me and then put something in there. But there is an artist I really like, Barbara Kruger, who does a lot of like that's one big word, or it's a kind of I don't even know really what style, but I have a GPT I built for that same issue, but now it's getting closer. I did put it out there where you come up with like a word and then the images is kind of juxtaposed. So I did the word spend with a dollar sign for S and a bunch of like shopping looking, holiday things. Yes. Because I'm like, I need to spell better. Yes, this is exactly her.
So,
cool.
Suzanne, I think that when Lillian demoed Bluescape last week, she said that it does text really well.
Yes, Bluescape will. Yeah, that's actually one thing I think Tyler put that in there about the thing about Figma. So in my last job, our team, the design team used Figma pretty much primarily. Originally it was Photoshop. And then, they're still using Photoshop, but really from a day-to-day perspective, most designers are using Figma. The problem with that is it became disconnected from the kind of the workflow where you need to be able to generate assets and then also save them in your digital asset management system, right? But so I was really hoping that whole merger would go through and that, Adobe would acquire them, because there really needs to, I think there is a connector, but there needs to be a smooth way for those two products to work together, right? Photoshop, Figma, and also Adobe Experience Manager. But the other piece is they at one point Adobe was developing kind of a platform like Bluescape. And I don't know what happened with that, if they eventually just shelved it. I do know that Bluescape does work with Adobe things. Actually, I built an integration with Bluescape and with Workfront. So you could generate like pull images, like proofs from Workfront out and then lay them into a whole visual canvas. So you could look at across everything you designed, across which channel and by the date. That was really cool. So we automated that. But it'll be interesting if now that Adobe's not acquiring Figma, if they're going to try to build something like a Fig Jam or
Yeah. So what happened with that? I only saw the headlines on it and I didn't see like what actually happened in that deal. Does anybody know?
Yeah, I haven't dived into it. I just saw the headline and I was like, oh, all right. I mean, I get it. I mean, I'm not terribly for all the major mergers that'll happen for companies that large, but it's it would have made the lives that I touch in different projects a lot easier, because getting your design team and running a project for software development, Figma, and the Atlassian products and things like that. So it was sort of that linchpin between that creative and the development side. So having that all for developers in one go, fantastic. That would have been fantastic. But it's just as easy, I guess, right now, because it all seems to work. But yeah, it would have been nice to have an all-in-one solution.
Yeah, I agree. I think the issue, like I said, at my last job, is that the designers were just going off and building things and it wasn't really structured. And when you're talking about a large team, So
Yeah.
if you start a project in Workfront and you're generating project numbers and different metadata, you want it to flow through this whole system, right? And so
Right.
what was happening is they're just going off and setting up their own, you know, spaces within Figma, and they're manually having to look for stuff. So there's really no tie. And then their work in progress was stuck in Figma versus the work in progress editable files being exported in a place that's searchable for other people to pick up and use. So that was really the issue we had. Of course, like at the end, in Figma, they have to export things out because you're going to be using that in whatever channel, whether that's social or on the site. And those assets would get in the DAM, but that's not always what people are looking for. A lot of times you're looking for an editable asset. So you can update it for a different year or a different program or a different thing. And so, yeah, I love Figma, but it would have been great if there was a better way to kind of integrate everything together. But
Yeah, I could see that. Totally.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. They wouldn't talk about it. When I was at Walmart, every time we met with the Adobe team, they weren't allowed to talk about anything. But because we kept trying to figure out, like, what's your vision on integrating everything together?
Yeah.
But
Well, you can be our eyes and ears on the ground floor.
yeah, well,
All right,
I'll be Adobe's huge, like a lot of the,
Yeah.
my last company, but I will be in their marketing team, supposedly.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, so I will hopefully see a lot of the stuff there. I think that's my role. So I'm easy to work with, and my job is working with those stakeholders and moving them into the right, doing the right things and the right tools, right?
Right.
There you
Right.
go.
Yeah.
That's very valuable.
Yeah.
I know I'll
Well, I
definitely
think
be
we're
following
gonna,
what
on that
you're doing
note,
there.
we're gonna sign off, I think.
Yeah. Thank you.
This has been so great. Happy holidays. We're gonna take a little break from these, during the holiday week, and then we'll be back in the beginning of January. But I'm sure, knowing our group, someone's gonna go, like, Anne's gonna be like, I'm going live. It's just gonna happen, but nothing's scheduled.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I start on the 8th, so maybe I'll make it to one more time.
Oh,
Awesome.
okay, great, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Thanks.
right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Y'all
everybody.
have happy
Matt.
holidays.
Bye, Jimmy. Bye, Tyler.